right. We're going to bring in Kenny. We're going to play our favorite game on the show, the only game that we do play here on the show. It is called Glitch in the System.
Is Vegas right?
I'm right.
Or did we find a glitch in the system?
Glitch
in the system.
Now on the Bettor Angle. Yeah, baby, it's on!
So I know everybody's excited for the Panthers-Jets game. Sean, I thought it was funny you said that you thought about me when the Panthers beat the Dolphins. I thought about you when the Panthers beat the Cowboys. So
Yeah,
let's go.
Each other.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk Panthers here, and it's funny because I also texted Kate on Sunday, and we talked about we briefly talked about how the Jets opened as favorites in this game, and now Carolina's 1-point favorite. It's basically pick the winner of the game. We got basically a pick 'em price here. And I've been thinking about all week how I want to bet this game. And I'm not going to bet the game. And the bet here I have, and this might sound crazy, but I'll explain. Panthers to make the playoffs plus 700. You look at the teams that Carolina would be competing for the spot of the wild card. And by the way, if they win this game and the Bucs lose to the Lions on Monday, they would just be a game back of Tampa for the division lead. Tampa would be 5-2. Carolina would be 4-3. But just looking at the teams that they would be behind in the wild card race, you've got the Rams. They're a small favorite against the Jags. Vikings, small dog versus the Eagles. You got the Bears, of course, favorite against the Saints. 49ers and Falcons playing against each other. I'm looking at this from the standpoint as I bet the Panthers right now plus 700 to make the playoffs. They win this game. You look at the prices for some of these other NFC teams to make the playoffs. Atlanta minus 114. Beat them. Carolina beat them 30-0, and Atlanta's 0-2 in the division already. Commanders are plus 156. I mean, whatever. They can't stay healthy. The Bears and the Vikings both at plus 240. That's fine. They can battle for last place in the NFC North. Dallas at plus 370. Carolina beat them too. And then you've got Carolina at 7-1. This is how I want to bet this game because I think a Carolina win on top of whatever else happens in the NFC, this price could potentially be cut from 7-1 to 3-1 or 4-1, that range. What do you guys think?
I can't do it.
I actually like the look at that price. I don't think that's a glitch. I think that's the correct price, but you have to be willing to go out and bet it. I think one of my favorite sayings about futures is it never feels comfortable when you put it in.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
If you're going to play a long shot, you're never going to feel great about it. So you kind of got to go out on a limb. That's where the fruit is. One team that I am confident that I have bet that's going to fall out of the NFC playoff picture that's favored almost at 3-1 to make the playoffs is the San Francisco 49ers. I think a team like the Bears, the Panthers, whoever finishes potentially even like the Cardinals out of the NFC West or someone in this, whoever's going to finish second in the division in the NFC North can pick up one of those playoff berths. The Niners, Fred Warner's out for the year. Brock Purdy's dealing with an injury. Kittle's dealing with an injury. Ayuk is out for the year. Ricky Pearsall's dealing with stuff. Bosa's out for the year. Those are their best players.
Right.
So that team, I believe, especially with Fred Warner being the stalwart and the leader of that defense, him going down last week, I think could spiral that team out of the playoffs. And a team like the Panthers, why not have those guys slide in?
I just look at the Panthers' schedule and think how many more wins is realistic.
But you're thinking about the Panthers like they're still bad. The Panthers are a good team. And they might not. And to see if they lose tomorrow, maybe they are still bad. And maybe it's just when they're at home and they've got a good spot against a bad defense. But I mean, they're playing the Jets. If they win tomorrow, they're 4-3. A good win streak. Bryce Young's playing I would say right now they're playing like a top 10 offense. I don't know if that's sustainable, but still a decent offense. And the defense is playing much better than it has before. Of course, Dallas is a really good offense. They did pretty well against them last week. I don't know why Mike Jackson was on coverage on George Pickens, but that's a different story. You might want to put J.C. Horn on him. But I'm looking at Carolina as like, if they can win this game and then just ride some momentum, the price on them to make the playoffs is just going to continue to shrink. I think it's funny that I know Atlanta just beat the Bills, but they're basically favored to make the playoffs, and Carolina beat them by 30, and Atlanta has lost both games.
Yeah, different team home and away, it seems like, as you mentioned, Kenny, with Carolina. They have yet to win an away game, and they go to the Jets. Then they play at home against the Bills, which is a tough ball game, of course.
Yeah, like that's a loss for me. Even
That's
though
a-
they're at home, even
Yeah.
though they aren't as bad as they are last year, I'm going to go ahead and chalk that up as an L for the
Have you
Panthers.
seen who the Bills have beaten so far this year? I mean, it's combined wins like 3 or 4 games or something like that.
Yeah.
So Bills have not beaten.
Oh, yeah, no, the Bills.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Yeah.
Panthers. The Bills
Yeah.
have not beat anyone good. The quarterbacks that the Bills have beaten,
Yeah.
not all that impressive. Still, I'd take Josh Allen over Bryce Young in that game. You go to Green Bay.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Gonna go
call it.
loss.
I wouldn't call it a glitch in the system because I do think 7-1.
Is
If you're
the
going to bet the
right
Panthers right
price.
now to make the playoffs, is probably is probably the best price too. Because you're also buying the top of the market. Like
Right.
this is about as high as we're going to get on the Panthers at the moment. Going into the Jets, they can get a big W there. It'll get a little higher, but yeah, I think 7-1 is a good number, and I love that. I love that you're backing them, Kenny.
Kenny, I will say you have been spot on with your Panthers takes this season. So I may be the one biting my tongue later on in the year, and you could totally be correct here. I just am still not.
I'm not even
there.
confident that Tampa's going to be able to win the division against them. And you know I love Tampa, but like
Kenny.
okay, but think about it this way. They play twice late in the season. If their records are similar, it'll come down to those games. We know how tight margins are in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Tampa's got to continue to stack wins. They look like they're sitting pretty at 5-1, but in reality, if they lose to the Lions this week,
Which
which
I
it
think
looks
they
like,
will.
yeah, which it looks like they will. Things, and especially if the Panthers win and the Falcons win, things are going to get tight for the Bucs in the NFC South. All right.
And really quick, Kenny, last point here. Just a quick gambling lesson. We're in the buy low, sell high business.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers lose 3 of their first 4 games. They beat the They lose to the Jags. They lose to the Cardinals. They get a 30-0 win at home against the Falcons. Then they go to New England, who no one thinks is that good, and they lose 42-13. Everyone's down on the Panthers. They're 1-3. This team stinks. Then they get a home game against another bad team in the Dolphins, and it was a pick-em price, and Kenny was dead on. That's when you buy the Panthers and try to back teams in that spot. Coming off a big blowout loss, now they get a home game against a bad team. That's when you want to back those spots. So buy low, sell high. Now it's starting to creep up maybe a little too high here on the Panthers.
Yeah, and you make a good point because that's why I'm nervous about this game, and I'm just going to bet the Panthers to achieve long-term outcomes instead of just betting them in this game at a regular price because everyone's going to be betting them in this game, and that's why I liked them the last 2 weeks against the Dolphins and the Cowboys because nobody wanted to bet
You were dead
Carolina
on.
after their next bet. Speaking of buying low on the Eagles. I know you like the Vikings, Sean, so you're not going to like this. We'll see what side Kate likes. And I have an interesting stat here. So since the Eagles picked up Saquon Barkley at the beginning of last year, this is the cheapest money line price that they've been in a game besides versus Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Now here's Carson Wentz. I understand that this Eagles team is not the same Eagles team. The secondary stinks. The offense can't get it together. But I am going to trust on a cheap money line price here for the Eagles that Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, a crew that was basically undefeated together before this little 2-game struggle, that they're going to win a football game over Carson Wentz. I know this number has kept crashing down, a lot of sharp money on Minnesota, but I actually am going to zig here and take the Eagles. What are we thinking?
Can't do it. I like the Vikings. I think that a part of this, too, is the home field advantage that the Vikings have is really good. And with an Eagles team that's so fragile right now with their offense, like if they get down early, I think things start to spiral a little bit. Do I think the Eagles long-term are going to be in danger of missing the playoffs or anything like that? No, they're still a very good football team. They're still going to make the playoffs. They could certainly win the Super Bowl or get back there. But where the state of the Eagles is right now, going on the road against a Vikings team that's coming off a bye, the home field advantage for the Vikings, I got to back Minnesota tomorrow.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I like Minnesota, Kenny. I think if I had to bet them, I would take the 2
Yes.
points and the Vikings.
Yes.
I think sometimes you look at the NFL board and there's clear passes on it. This is
This
a
would be
clear
a clear
this is
pass.
a clear pass to me. You have a struggling team that's been getting hammered in the media in the Philadelphia Eagles that are getting Jalen Carter back, their stud, on the defensive line. And then you have a team that has a great home field advantage. They had time to get right offensively and how they're going to attack this Philly team. this seems like a clear pass to me. I would just look elsewhere on the board. So it's not that I like Minnesota. I just can't back Philly, but I also don't love the Minnesota side either because Philly's still a really good football team, and they're going to be desperate to put out a good performance here in this spot. So it would just be a pass. But, hey, Kenny, I'm not mad that you would look at the game in that fashion. Everybody's down on Philly.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Philly. Everybody has an answer and a reason on how they could fix Philly in a snap of a finger if they were the head coach and they were Nick Sirianni. And I mentioned Nick
Funny how that
Sirianni
is.
on extended rest is 9-3 in those spots. So it's not a bye week, but it is coming off of
A mini bye.
a mini bye. So they've responded in these spots throughout the years. I wouldn't go as far as glitching the system, but this is a tough game to decide. It's a coin flip in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, another game that I really thought was interesting on this slate, you guys actually touched on it, was the late Monday Night Football game, the Seahawks and the Texans. And I really like the Seahawks in the game, but then it got out to 3, and the money line price expensive. I think, if anything, you guys mentioned I'd probably take the 3 with Houston, but I do expect the Seattle to win the game, and especially if they win the game. Right now, they're the third choice to win the NFC West at plus 250. Sam Darnold right now, he's second in EPA per play, second in success rate, second in average depth of target, and first in yards per attempt. He's absolutely balling out of his mind. Jackson Smith-Njigba looks like one of the best receivers in the league. The defense is great, and right now, like I said, third choice to win the division. I feel like if you do like Seattle to win this game, which I do, plus 250 right now, that price, because San Francisco and the Rams both have tough games this week. San Francisco's banged up, and the Rams are missing their best player in Puka Nacua. I think Seattle's going to end up winning this division, guys. I actually think they're one of the better teams in the NFC, and right now to win their division, they're the third choice at plus 250. I think it's a glitch.
I agree. And I was watching Seattle and Tampa Bay, felt like I was watching like two of the top 3 teams in the NFC when I was watching that game. That's what it felt like to me. I was just like, these 2 teams could easily come out of the NFC. And we talked about it on this very show. Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the NFC was plus 1,400 last week. It's like plus 7 now. We talked about Tampa, and
we were talking about it when it was 18-1
yeah,
in March.
Yeah, like okay, I wasn't around for that, but
no, we're glad you joined the party. That's what's funny.
Yeah, they're like, you could have got them 14-1 as soon as last week. That number is no longer around. So yeah, I just mentioned how beat up the Niners were. The Fred Warner, losing Fred Warner cannot be understated. He's the heart and soul of that defense. I could see them getting exposed defensively, and I don't know when Brock's going to be back, and I don't love dropping Brock Purdy back 40 times anyway. So, yeah, I think that is a glitch. If you think Seattle's going to get that win, and if you like Atlanta in that matchup, and you like the Jags in London in that matchup, next thing you know, Seattle looks like it was a ridiculous price at 2.5-1.
Yeah, I was anti-Seattle going into the season. I was not on board with that, and I was very wrong about that. And Sam Darnold and the success that he's having, I was not on board with that. But hey, you can't win them all. And at this price now, sure, I could have gotten it a lot better earlier on, but missed that. I think that now would be the time to jump in on it because you're right. 49ers are so banged up. I'm really worried about their defense without Fred Warner. Sure, you get George Kittle back, but still there are holes all over this team with all the injuries that they've had. The Rams, it's a tough game. I think the Rams are a better team than the Jaguars, but you throw in the travel, you throw in the overseas, who knows what's going to happen in that game. And I like the direction that Seattle has been going this year, and they've been playing extremely well. So to be third in the division right now, I think now would be the time to jump in on them, assuming they win and those other 2 teams lose tomorrow.
Yeah, the thing I really like about Seattle is I don't really know what their weakness is. They can run. They've got a good running back duo. They can run the ball. The offensive line was expected to be a weakness. Sam Darnold wasn't expected to play like this, but the defense is good. Like, they really just don't have a weakness. And yeah, they might not be elite, but they've got a playmaker and a game changer in JSN, and so that's huge as well. I mean, if they had DK Metcalf, still imagine that, but it's all right. NBA. Season starts on Tuesday, I believe.
Tuesday, yes, sir.
Tuesday. So I think we already
Good luck
talked.
trying to find where the game's going to be played and how to watch it. But yeah, it starts Tuesday.
Yeah, all these. It's going to be. We're going to have Prime and NBC this year, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Prime,
Yep.
NBC,
Peacock.
then regular Wednesday.
As long as they have the old NBC theme, and I was really young when they stopped. But I remember the NBC theme. I always associate the NBC theme with Michael Jordan.
Round
Like,
Ball Rock, right? John Tesh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
John
Yep.
Tesh.
As long as they bring back the old NBC theme.
Yeah, that'll be back.
Yeah. Good.
Confirmed.
Good. All right, so the team here that I have for a future for this NBA season is the Detroit Pistons to win 50 or more games at plus 220. I think the East is very vulnerable, and I think this Pistons team, along with teams like the Magic and Hawks, some of these younger teams, with guys like Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton missing time this season, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks, Joel Embiid and the Sixers, that I think they're going to be figuring things out a lot of the season. I don't trust Doc Rivers as a coach, and Philly might have this great season. So when I look in the Eastern Conference, I don't think there's many teams that are going to hit that 50-win threshold, but if there was one, and the best price out there right now, Atlanta's plus 164 to win 50 or more games, I like that. Orlando's minus 140, I like that as well, but Pistons here at plus 220 to win 50 or more games. Is that a bet?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think Detroit is the real deal. They lose Beasley, who was their sniper, but they add Duncan Robinson, who I think started to get a bit disrespected by Spoelstra in Miami. I think Duncan can still play quite a bit, and very underrated getting to the rim as well. So they add Duncan Robinson, who'll still be able to shoot it. If Asur Thompson takes a step to being like MIP, most improved player, him and his brother are top 3 or 4 on that board. If he takes a step and Cade Cunningham continues to do what he's doing, where there's a really good chance Cade could be second team All NBA. If he really goes berserk, first team All NBA is not out of the realm. Tobias Harris had an insane career. I don't want to say, I guess, jump.
Yeah,
He was a liability. Yeah,
of some
resurgence is the
sorts.
right
Yeah.
word. He wasn't dependable at all in Philly for quite some time. He goes to Detroit, and he was like the old guy that was the veteran leader of that team. Jalen Duren is probably the top 2 or 3 best defending, rebounding big man in the NBA. They're a little deeper than people want to give them credit for. They also add Karis LeVert. I really like Detroit. 50 wins in a wide open division. Milwaukee is going to be struggling to push 50 wins. Everything's going to be on the back of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I do like this spot. I think the price is right, but I think it is worth betting at 1.6-ish to 1, depending on where you're looking.
I mean, they had 44 wins last year.
Yeah.
And you just rattled off some of the new names that they have and why they could be better because of those. I think, yeah, I love this bet, Kenny.
I think there's a lot of bets to be made to look around in the Eastern Conference just because I think the market doesn't really know who's going to be what, right? And I think this is a good opportunity. I mentioned Orlando and Paolo Banchero because, like, I think Orlando is going to win 55-plus games, and I think Detroit is going to be one. I was going to ask you guys, are you guys in on Cleveland and New York this year? Because those are two teams that have, like, they don't have any really flaws coming into the year, but they haven't got over the hump, right? Like they've been good enough in the regular season to get one of the top few seeds, but they have not been able to get to the finals. Like, do we believe in one of those teams, or is it like Orlando or Detroit that's going to be the cream of the crop in the East this year?
I mean, I really believe in the Knicks. I think they're loaded. I loved the additions they made with Jordan Clarkson and Yabusele and just getting the new coach and letting go of, I don't know why I keep blanking on
Tom Thibodeau?
No, Tibbs left.
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown.
I know,
Mike
we do
Brown.
that every week.
Every week I blank on Mike Brown, but I love the addition of Mike Brown and just getting that new scene on how they're going to do rotations and that stuff. So I believe in the Knicks and the Cavs, but I think one thing about the NBA, and you see this throughout the years, is teams that feel like they need to announce themselves take the regular season extremely seriously. And that is a perfect fit for teams like the Orlando Magic, for teams like the Detroit Pistons. The Cavs have proven to everyone that we could win 58 to 60 games in the regular season. Our questions are about you in the playoffs. we need to see Detroit put together another season in a row to believe. I think they know that, and they're trying to get that winning culture to be an extended real thing. So those are the teams you want to back in the regular season. For example, I'm not going to be a big regular season backer of the Denver Nuggets.
No.
Like, they're just trying to get to the playoffs.
They don't care about winning the division. That means nothing to them.
Exactly right. So those are when you look at who to back, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a guy that's backing the Golden State Warriors in the regular season. That's not what I'm looking to do. But teams like Detroit is a team I'd back. 50-plus wins. I think they have a really good shot to be there, and I think they have a really good shot to be the third best team in the East, behind like potentially an Atlanta squad. But I think you go through the entire East, it's probably going to be Knicks, Cavs. You could swap out 1, 2, Orlando, Detroit, and Atlanta fighting for that third slot, and I don't see why it can't be the Detroit Pistons.
Well, and going back to Kenny's point about the Knicks and Cavs, like, in all sports, but I'd say especially the NBA, like, you have to get to the playoffs and lose before you can get to the finals and win. Like, you need some of those playoff scars before you reach the top. I mean, the Celtics making it to the finals against the Warriors, losing, and then coming back the next year and winning. We see those types of things all the time. So I think both of those teams certainly get back to the postseason this year. Can they go as deep? Knicks, could they go as deep as they did last year? Probably, but I think sometimes you need some of those losses in the postseason before you're ready to completely take the next step. And then the other teams that you mentioned, like, those are the teams that are arriving, maybe still looking to arrive. This year will have arrived. Next year, that's kind of when they build on that. 2-3 years down the road, maybe we can consider them a title contender.
Yeah, I think Detroit and Orlando are going to try to win a ton of regular season basketball games and position themselves to make some noise in the playoffs. Those are the two teams that I would take overs on win totals here in the East.
Like, you're not, like, Rockets don't care about the regular season. KD, like, it's about staying healthy. Sure, they need some continuity with a lot of new pieces on that team.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, the number of wins, that doesn't matter to them.
And when I say don't care about the regular season, they're not going to be pushing to win 60. The Thunder won 68 games last year and essentially lost a bunch of games coming down the stretch. They were really close to winning 70 games.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be that good in the regular season again. That was their second year in a row proving to people, hey, we're a 65-win team in the NBA, and they won the title. It's just against human how humans are wired to show up and try to push 65, 66 wins. Again, the Pistons and the Magic and those teams aren't there yet, so they're going to be trying to make that leap.
OKC could still win 60 games and be leading the West.
Exactly right.
Rockets had 52 last year. A lot of 50-win teams in the West.
Speaking of the Rockets, I know they lost Van Vliet, but I laughed when I saw their odds go. They're now tied with the Clippers and the Lakers to win the West. I just think that's funny because the Rockets were the second team in the West last year, and now they add a Kevin Durant, a guy who can give you 30. Just in a playoff series, they would crush the Lakers and the Clippers. Why are they this? I just laughed at that. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And I think Şengün and Amen Thompson, Asur's brother, are gonna. Alperen Şengün is, like, people get nicknames. They call him Baby Jokic. I think he's earned every right of that. He can do it all on the floor. Their big problem was they had no one that can close games offensively, and they literally went and got the best offensive, efficient guy we've maybe ever seen in Kevin Durant, and he's continuing to play at that high of a level. So as long as they could get the game to the fourth, they're going to be able to go to Kevin Durant, and he's going to be able to get them buckets that no one else on their team could get. Or they were going to Jalen Green, and he was throwing up all types of ridiculous attempts. So, I like Houston a lot.
More efficiency with KD over a little Jalen Green action, especially how he played in the postseason.
It's a good swap, Durant for Jalen Green.